Pretty well. Hello, firstly. How are you, Kagwe?
Amazing. I'm amazing. How are you?
Good, good. You're okay? You look very warm.
See, I have two hoods. I have a hat. I have inside. I've got Nini. Listen.
Korada for real.
Korada.
Yeah. How's it going otherwise? How has the new album been received so far?
It's been great, actually. Today marks 2 weeks.
Yay!
And it's been an amazing 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Especially because I was holding it for so long.
Yeah.
Right? It's 3 years just holding it and tweaking it and fixing it and changing songs and adding and removing. Exactly. And it's finally out, and I'm so glad now the world gets to hear it. There's been so much work that we put into it.
Right.
There's 11 different collaborations.
Yeah.
6 songs are Kenyan samples. There's so many different stories behind all of the different songs, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with the world.
That's amazing. And the last time that you were here, we were speaking about your career as a producer, and then of course you started singing, and then you actually wrote for some of Kenya's finest artists as well. Yes. So you've practically done it all, right? And now you've got your album. So I always want to know, do you have a vision for the next few years? What next? Anything else that you want to try out that's new, that's different?
I think for now I'm really just trying to really embrace this new version of Kagwe, and that's what I think Rada
is all about.
Yeah, kind of represents. So it's half and half, right? So half of it is like a rebirth, right? As the last time I was here, I had dreads.
Yeah.
Which were my own dreads. They were not like faux locks, as some people think. They were mine. I didn't buy them. I grew them. And this is basically like a rebrand, a representation of just the new Kagwe, the new outlook that I have, because Nikorada. And that's the entire kind of feel of it, right? And I'm really enjoying this now. There's obviously long-term goals that I want to achieve.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm just trying to be present. I'm trying to be in the moment. I'm trying to enjoy today, because life is so short.
Yeah.
We only have such a limited amount of time here on earth, and I really want to make every day count.
100%. And you mentioned it's your new outlook to life. What has changed since we last met? I'd like to know, apart from your hair, of course.
Well, the music has also changed.
Yeah.
I think the last time that we met, I was just starting my company, OB Africa, as well.
Yes, which, by the way, congratulations, it's been doing so well.
Thank you.
I've been seeing you out and about, doing different things. It's so nice to see you evolve from not just music to doing other things and entrepreneurship, which is amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rihanna and Jay-Z have taught us that, music is the tool through which then you can explore the rest of the world,
100%.
And so in that same breath, we're just really trying to make a lot of amazing things happen within the creative industry with OB Africa. So that's everything from advertisements to experiential events and to digital partnerships with different brands. And it's been honestly amazing. We have been growing the team. I have my homie over here, Wesley, with me, who's recently joined our team. We put out this thing on social media, and we're like, hey, I'm looking for a social media.
Oh, he's the guy.
He's the guy.
He's the guy who made the cuts. I remember you were talking about how there were so many applications and all, but you're looking for the guy.
Absolutely.
So good to know you found your guy.
We found our guy. We found our guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. So, you've mentioned that you have decided not just to focus on music. As you said, you want to try out different things, and you have gone into entrepreneurship, your company OBY, which as I said earlier on, it's doing really well, and I've heard a lot about it already. It's been a year and a half?
Actually 3.
3 years?
This is now 3 years. We started peak COVID,
That's crazy.
I'll never forget, we had signed our lease. It was this March, I think, 12th.
Okay.
March 13th, we had the first case of COVID in Kenya.
Oh dear.
And it was oh my God, we've put in now money, because you have to put a deposit, you have to put months rent in advance and everything. We've bought gear, we've done things, and then the president is just the whole country is shutting down, everybody stay in your house. And we're what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And then last year there was elections.
Yeah.
So again, trying to figure things out, because again, people are staying home, there's not much activity in just the creative economy. And now finally we get a chance this year to be able to really, really lift our voices in that kind of sense. So that makes it a great way for the album to be able to come out.
Of course. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because as you said, now I feel like the creative voices are now being heard.
Absolutely.
Through Talantahela, of course, that's something that we are seeing, the creative economy
Yes.
in this new government. And what other exciting things would you hope for as a creative, as a performer, as an artist, as an entrepreneur? And how do you see those two things coming together, like the amalgamation of music and business coming together into this creative economy that we're seeing as of now?
You know, it's actually been really interesting because now I have this company that's a creative agency, and our main mission is to be able to solve problems in a creative way.
Okay.
Right? We do that for all of our different clients that we work with, and so right now the brand Kagwe Mungai is a client of OB Africa, right? And so we look at music as a product, right? And so the same way that you would take a brand like Coca-Cola, and months before, like, they release a new product, there's a bunch of different, I guess, research and development.
Right.
You're tweaking the product, making sure it sounds right or feels right, or tastes right, that kind of thing. And so we're doing that. We're applying the same kind of logic with music, right?
Okay.
You have to have a go-to-market strategy.
Yeah.
You have to have a campaign strategy. You have to be able to activate in different parts of the country where your audiences are and be able to ensure that you're really connecting in an authentic way. And that's really something that we're so excited about doing throughout the rest of the year now. We're halfway through the year. To me, it feels like we just started last year.
Literally.
We just say Happy New Year just yesterday.
I promise you, it doesn't feel like we're already halfway through the year. This year has gone by so fast. So much has happened in this year
in
already.
Just 6 months.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
It is wild.
But it's exciting to be able to now kind of switch hats from the creative hat into like the entrepreneurship hat and figure out the different ways that we want to not just have this album heard, but empower the creatives in different ways that we are getting this album heard, you know, from everybody that is like the guys that shoot the videos, like my guy Wesley over here on digital, everyone from the concepts, the art direction, everything. There's a whole creative economy, right? And we basically want to show Kenyans and the world that there's careers within the creative economy. You don't just have to be a
100%.
singer, you don't just have to be an actor, you don't just have to be a whatever. There's so many different pockets of careers that you can excel at and grow. And I think if you look at Kenyan music compared to, say, the rest of the continent, right? The one thing that we don't have is volume. And when I say volume, I'll put it like this. In South Africa, they have about maybe 4,000 submissions of Amapiano songs monthly.
Wow.
Right? Every month, Spotify receives 4,000 songs that are Amapiano. Right?
Okay.
How many Gengetone songs do you think they receive? Less than 100.
That's crazy.
Right? And that just means that there's so many more people that are doing Amapiano or Afrobeats or hip hop or this and that and that and that and that.
And they aren't even from like particular countries. It's like, you know, someone from Kenya as well is probably doing Amapiano.
Exactly. Yeah, I have Amapiano songs in my album.
Absolutely.
Right? And the idea, my dream, can I tell you my dream?
Yeah.
My dream is that one of these days, right, for like 6 months, we'll have about like 30 different Kenyan artists, the best of the best, making genge or gengetone. And I don't mean like lamba, lolo, everything has to be like that, right? But if you had, say, Bien, right? Bien has its own twist to gengetone, right?
Interesting.
And then you have like Otile Brown has his own twist to gengetone. Kagwe Mungai has his own twist to gengetone. Fena has her own twist
different
to
versions of genge.
Exactly. And that's how it evolves. That's how it evolves. And suddenly now there's so many people that are excited about this genre and that want to express it in their own way, that it becomes now a recognizable African genre in the same way that Afrobeat is and Amapiano
has become.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because did we ever think that Diamond Platinumz would be doing Amapiano the way he's doing it now?
Imagine.
And he's taking it to the next level, even more than the South African artist did.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is insane, the evolution of music, African music, per se, and the African sound.
Exactly.
Quite an interesting point there. And Kagwe, you know, as we talk about evolving, right, there's one thing that I think people forget to mention when they're talking about the music careers and the music journeys, is how digital media has played such a big role. And you mentioned that you actually had to add someone to your team to kind of get that going and get that, you know, segment of your life, you know, to the next level, which is very I think, crucial. Because
Absolutely.
TikTok as well, as we do know nowadays, to promote your song, you need to be good at TikTok.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's been the kind of like outlook that we've been looking at in terms of, even when we announced the 11 collaborations, 10 of which are Kenyan artists. The only collaboration that's not Kenyan is MFR Souls, who are from South Africa.
Okay.
We have 6 samples in there, right? That everything from the mushrooms to Issa to Gidi Gidi Maji Maji to Nameless to Big Pin, and there's so many different things that we're trying to kind of show guys where we've come from, so that we can show them where we're going.
Yeah, the
right?
journey of Kenyan
Exactly.
music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think because we have such amazing talent in this country, you know, we have such creativity. It's honestly, it's appalling to me. I get upset. I sit in my bed and I get so upset. I'm just like, why are we not getting our flowers?
Yeah.
Right? Why are we not getting our flowers? And for me, to answer your initial question, that's my bigger goal. I want Kenya to get our flowers.
Okay.
We get our flowers for tech, we get our flowers for business, we get our flowers for infrastructure. If you travel around the continent, you'll realize that Kenya is so developed, right? So developed. Even like our internet is faster than SA.
Yeah.
SA, those guys have power blackouts every day. We complain about KPLC.
Nigeria as well.
We complain about KPLC. I'm telling you,
Right.
South Africa, who we see as these guys that are ahead of us,
Yeah.
they are struggling. They have like power for like maybe
The America of Africa.
Yeah, they have like 6 to 8 hours of power a day.
Yeah.
And like that's not what we have here,
Of course.
right? And so in the same way, our art is also elevated. You see that when international artists come from abroad and guys complain, they're like, oh my God, he was singing auto-tune. He couldn't even sing properly on stage, you know, that kind of thing. We have such an appreciation for talent and art and creativity. And I think it's time the world wakoe rada.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they also should appreciate us the way we appreciate music from all parts of the world.
Absolutely.
Right? Kagwe, let's talk about your life. I've been seeing, you know, speaking of evolution, right? This year you decided to go hard or go home.
Yeah.
Not just in your professional life, in your
Yeah.
personal life as well.
Yeah.
You were trending for quite some time. I
Little
think
bit.
you broke the internet.
Little bit.
And you just went public with your relationship. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
You and Sharon together, I just love seeing your content.
Thank you.
And I think that the fact that you guys decided to be intentional with your content as well, not just with your relationship being out in the open, it's beautiful to see. So tell me about that part of your life that not many people know about. I mean, now they do a little
Now they
bit,
do.
what you share on social media.
Yeah.
But I know she's a huge Kagwe Mungai fan. I always see her supporting your content,
really
your
is.
music.
Ah.
It's just so lovely to see. So tell us about Sharon, the lady in your life.
my gashungwa, my baby,
Oh,
my boo thing.
how cute.
Yeah, no, I've been very private about my love life.
Yes. Every time I ask you, you always like slide past that question
I would-
somehow.
I
Deflect.
I really learned like the art of deflection. It's
I
just like,
was
are you
like-
seeing someone? I'm like, I see everything.
He'll never give us an
I have
exclusive.
eyes. I see the world. Don't you see the world? I see you. You see me. We
You've
see
even
each other.
mastered those lines.
No, but I mean, I took some time off at the end of the year last year because
Okay.
it was a really, really long and tough year. And I really wanted to be able to, when I came back from like a trip, I took like 7 days by myself to just
Right.
like refocus and figure out the next year. And one of the things that I wanted to do this year was to live authentically as myself.
Okay.
You know, and that meant like loving out loud, loving my music out loud, loving my people out loud. And that's something that I've always wanted to do. But, you know, before I was in a label, and you kind of have to be like a certain way. Right? They have to package you because you're, again, a product.
You're being managed.
Yeah, you're
as
a
well.
product. And it's just like, listen,
Yeah.
you're a sex symbol.
Yeah.
You can't have girlfriends.
Interesting.
Every girl is your girlfriend. Everything is like this and like this and like this and like that. And now that I am in charge of my career fully, right?
Okay.
I now decided that this is who I am. I'm a lover, and I love to love, and I'm so grateful to have an amazing partner like Sharon that is that really like has my back beyond anyone that I've ever like been in a relationship with, and we're really just enjoying this period, right? We dated for a while quietly.
Yeah.
And then we decided after like various different conversations,
Okay.
is this the right thing for us to do? how does this affect our careers? She's also a public figure.
Of course she is, and she's been in this industry for quite some time as well.
Absolutely. And you know, she's also never done this before as well, and so we're kind of doing this as a partnership, and it's really great to have somebody in your corner and you in their corner in the same way that like you would ride for somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, how sweet.
Yeah. I think she might be watching. Hey, baby.
Feeling all nice and warm inside. Shout out to you, Sharon. Thank you for always watching. Kagwe, and of course, it's nice to see the two of you just being so authentic about your relationship. You know, even the video you posted of her cooking for you, I was like, this is sweet.
Yeah.
Who said Kenyan women don't cook and can't cook? Who said? Thank you for wrapping us, Sharon.
Ask your mother.
Yeah, so it's just nice to see, you know, and we're very happy for you and wish you all the very best. And it's once again, I feel like it's nice to see artists like loving their partners loudly on social media.
Yeah, I feel like it's been I mean, we propagate this whole idea that like, you know, like if you don't have many babes, then you know you're not like blah blah blah. You're not this cool guy. You're not doing well. You're not doing what blah blah blah.
Desirable.
But at the end of the day, like, how do you sleep at night? Do you sleep at night?
Right.
Do all those many babes keep you warm and all of that? And like, it's not. For me, I just wanted to be authentically myself. You know, and I'm so glad that I get to do that with such a great partner. Yeah. Love it for you. And now let's talk about, you know, how you've managed to, like, I feel like maneuver your way through all these different things, you know, and I feel like you're handling it pretty well. Is there a time when you just wake up in the morning and you're like, man, today I'm burnt out. I just need a goddamn break. What do I do? Nothing. You know, I'm sure you have those days. And then how do you get past that slump? My mom tells me. My mom tells me that sometimes God forces you to be still, right? And that can happen in various ways. Like earlier this week, as I was telling you, like before we went on air, like I was really unwell. I got this Nairobi homa that has been going around, and in those moments, like when you're just like really unwell, you can't go to meetings, you can't do things, you just have to sit and be still, right? And that is not only your body's way of telling you, bro, relax, but I feel like it's also God's way of telling you, like, take a seat. You need a moment to just like sit and chill. And unfortunately, I love what I do, right? And I love all the different aspects of it. I love the balancing. I love how crazy it is. Nairobi for me is the greatest city on earth because it's just, guys are just such hustlers, and I love it. And
the fast pace that we have.
I don't think I could ever live in Mombasa.
Imagine.
I mean, no disrespect to anyone watching from Mombasa.
Do you know, I've had this conversation with a friend of mine. So I started working recently with a videographer from Mombasa, and he's moved down recently to Nairobi. And in the beginning, I was so amazed at how he was so chill. He was so calm about everything. Usijali dadangu. And I was like, I have to shoot this. I have 10 minutes. Make it happen. Mos. But you know, I feel like people don't realize how we live as Nairobians unless you come and live with us. That's when you'll know that we're the London of Kenya.
Yes, this New York of Africa.
Right?
And I honestly, I love it so much, and I appreciate that energy. But the truth is, it can be draining. Like you said, you know, like there's a lot going on all the time, and you get to a point where you're just like burning out, and that's not healthy. You know, it's not something that I would recommend for people to do. But again, I am so in love with what I do, and I dedicate every like mind cell and molecule of my body to like my art and my passions, right? And so, yes, there's those breaks that God tells you to take, but sometimes you have to be intentional. I mentioned earlier that I took like 7 days off in December. This was the first time that I'd ever done that, right? We had gone to Malindi for about 7 days, just like took time off. I'd never done that before. I don't know if you've ever done that. Have you ever done a solo trip?
No, but I would love to.
It's incredible. You go by yourself, you don't go on social media, you don't like call people, you're not like answering emails, you just like go and you just like peace.
Enjoy the moment and be present.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, for the first maybe 6 hours, I loved it, right?
Yeah.
And then I got to hour 7 and I was just like,
now what? What are we doing with my time?
yeah,
Right.
I went to the beach, I ate, I slept, I napped, I painted, I did things. Like, I was like, so what else is happening around the city, you know? But it forces you to kind of just like introspect,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
like really look at the things that are important to you, and kind of meditate on those things, which I think is so important. And you
Right.
don't have to necessarily take a vacation and go like to a different place. But I think being intentional about rest and balance between work and play is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that, because like sometimes in this race that we're in, constantly wanting to be the best, constantly wanting not just competing with others, but with yourself as well.
Absolutely.
You know, we always have competitions where you're like, okay, I need to do better than I did last year.
Yes.
Or I need to be, you know, earning more than I did in the last month.
Yeah.
So we're always trying to outdo what we were doing in the past.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that. Sometimes you just need to take a break, introspect. It's very important.
How do you take a break?
I feel like for me, social media is where I spend so much energy, so much of my energy and my time. So for me, a break is just not being on my phone.
Right.
It doesn't have to be out of town or anything, as you said, because sometimes you aren't able to, because there's so many things that you're required to do.
For sure.
But I feel like just taking a break from your phone, it helps.
Yeah.
So I also went, you know, to Mombasa recently, and I literally did not use my phone. I limited my screen time from 13 hours, which is bizarre, to like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of myself. So, you know, these little things, it really does make a difference.
It counts, and you come back feeling so refreshed out of that thing, and you're clear, you're not as bogged down by everything, and you're not being influenced by everything that you're seeing online. It's really good to unplug.
In fact, you don't even feel like seeing what's happening online. You're not curious
you don't want to
see what's happening with other people.
Exactly.
And that's something that I think we need to really realize. This industry we're in, you always just want to know what's going on.
Exactly.
You always want to be in the loop.
Yeah.
And you want to see how you can do it better.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Kagwe, let's talk about family. Let's talk about your mom. You know, the other day you posted your mom and you went for coffee with her.
Yeah, it was Mother's Day.
Yes, you took her out.
Yeah, Mother's Day. I took her a gift.
Yeah.
I took her a little gift.
Are you a mama's boy?
I am. First of all, I'm my mom's favorite.
Really? Is she watching?
I think she might be. I think also my grandma's watching.
Oh.
I'm both their favorites.
Yeah.
I'm named after my grandfather, my late grandfather. So growing up, my grandma used to call me my boyfriend.
Oh.
So that's my original girlfriend.
Yeah.
And my mom is just my heart. I love her so much. And yeah, so Mother's Day, I wanted to just really appreciate her, and just got her like a little cute gift package. But
you look a lot like her, by the way.
I do.
I saw that and I was like, oh, I hope other people see it too.
That's where I get my my good looks from. I can't even take credit. It's all her.
Got it from my mama.
Got it from my mama. Yeah, so I like to appreciate her, not just on Mother's Day, not just on her birthday, every other day. But she's also a writer. She's a really, really brilliant mind. She's had such great experiences in the corporate sector for decades, right? And she's such a wealth of knowledge that I always lean on, not just for emotional support, but strategic support as well. You know, she's managed huge multinational companies like Coca-Cola and Scanad.
That's amazing.
And worked in various different sectors. And so for me, she's such a resource and such a mentor figure that I can go to her for not just like my personal things, but my professional things as well. And she provides such a clear path for me and for my brother as well, who is also within the creative space. He's the creative manager at Trace TV. And it's honestly, I'm quite blessed, right? I think one of the things that I started realizing early on into my career is that not a lot of people's parents are very supportive of creative endeavors.
100%.
Right? It takes time. It takes time.
For them to ease into it.
Absolutely.
And be accepting of it.
And the truth is, if we're being honest, it comes from a place of love.
Yes,
right?
it does.
It's that like, listen, when we were growing up in like the 70s or the 80s.
What was an influencer?
Yeah, all the people that were like creatives were like drug addicts or whatever, and they're like, this path will lead you down the wrong way. Don't do that. Just be a lawyer or be a doctor or be an engineer, because we know those make money. I have some friends who are engineers. I have some friends who are doctors. Those guys make money. You'll be okay.
You'll be successful.
You'll be successful. Just do those things, you know. And I'm so grateful that my mom was able to realize early on that if my children do whatever they love the most, then they are more likely to succeed. You know, and that's one thing that I'll be ultimately grateful for. I don't think that I can ever repay that back.
Yeah, it's nice to see, and of course it's nice to always have a support system in your parents when you're making big decisions in life.
Absolutely.
And you know, even when you've reached at a point in your career where you feel like you've got something of your own, you've got a brand, and you know, you are someone who's known out here. But then also it's nice to fall back on them and be like, Mom, I'm not okay today.
Help.
Or help. Just tell me, give me a hug. You know, I'm going through XYZ, I'm a bit low. It's nice to see, and it's nice to have that relationship with them.
It really is.
Kagwe, what advice would you like to give the younger generation who's trying to break through into the music industry? Right now, competition is super stiff. It's so tough to be noticed, to be heard. So, you know, what would you tell someone who's feeling very, very hopeless and doesn't know how to break through?
If I had to give one piece of advice to anybody watching now, I think my major piece of advice would be dive into failure.
Okay.
Really, really embrace the idea of failure, right? Because, and my late grandfather told me a story once of what my name means, which I later found out was like a lie. But it's a good story, and for me, I liked the story, right? So he told me once upon a time there was this little boy, and he had a grandfather and a mother. He didn't have a name. They used to call him Kabebi.
Okay.
So Kabebi was there. He was trying to walk, and every time Kabebi would try and walk and he'd fall, his mother would run to catch him, right? And the wise grandfather noticed this behavior, and just as about the next time he was about to fall, the mom was about to reach out and grab him. The wise grandfather said, "Reke Kagwe," which means let him fall, right? So Kagwe essentially was the thing that he was kind of playing at. But I think the larger lesson that I later realized as an adult is that, you know, failing is important. You know, you learn from your failures. An L is not a loss, it's a lesson. And if you can build on that and really embrace the idea of, okay, cool, so that didn't work. Let's try a different way of doing this. You know, you see, even on TikTok these days, I get all of these like things coming at me of like, post 10 times a day, post this number of times a day. This is what the algorithm wants and everything. The truth is, the more you do, the more you try, the more you experiment, the more you figure out about yourself, right? And then you'll find something that is authentically you that people really connect to. So number one, don't be afraid to fail. Number two, really, really embrace who you are as a person.
Right.
And just dive deep into that, because that's where your source is. That's where your magic is. It's in you. It's already there. You just have to like not be afraid to let it out.
And that's a W for me, a win for me to get wisdom from him, because what he said, I think it's going to stick with me, and I'm going to go and use it for my next Instagram caption. And L is not a loss. Always.
It's a lesson.
It's a lesson.
It's a lesson.
Mic drop.
Yes.
Speaking of the mic, I think it's time that you need to perform. So Cole Jax is ready. Cole Jax, are you ready? Right. So which one are we going with first? Ghostika?
Yes.
Yeah?
Because also for our amazing viewers, one of the amazing guests that I had the honor of having in the car as I drove around the city of Nairobi playing this amazing song called Ghostika is the one and the only Shiksha Aurora.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kagwe. Thank you. I see you. I appreciate you. Yeah, but like it was such a good experience. I had so much fun.
It was really fun.
Just driving around Nairobi while everyone's staring at us, wondering what is wrong with us.
Really, like you're sitting like the people. I guess we didn't show those parts.
Yeah,
but those parts were sitting in traffic, and guys are just like,
we should really have a BTS.
We need to show it.
Yeah,
we need to show it.
It was something.
It was amazing.
Malkia, 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 Kukua this fine inakuwa unfair, and you already know. Yeah, you already know. Malkia, 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 nimekutuma text mingi kama mia, hivi ndio umenishow. Yani umenighost. Mimi